Now at 9, from a widening project to a sinkhole to a roundabout opening. Going to tell you about some driving changes to expect.
If you're hitting the rails, the road, or the sky this Thanksgiving weekend, you're not going to be alone. Some 53 million Americans are expected to travel. I'm Casey Stiegel at DFW International Airport. A look coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. A major project in Joplin that includes some road closures is just 1 week away. 32nd Street from Schifferdecker to Central City Road will be widened to 3 lanes with the ability to expand that to 5 as the area grows. Starting December 1st, crews are going to begin clearing trees along 32nd Street in preparation of heavier work set to begin later in December. Toward the end of the month, the first road closure is expected to take place from Schifferdecker to Westbury Lane.
With that type of construction, we're doing several phasing of short-term and long-term road closures. Know that will be some inconvenience. We'll always get the property owners in and out.
The project is being done in 2 phases, with each of those broken into smaller groups to minimize the impact of road closures on residents. It's expected to take around 2 years to complete the project. This right here is a lot more than a pothole. A large sinkhole has forced authorities to close Jung Boulevard between Central City and Black Cat Road in Joplin. Joplin Special Road District believes a mine shaft may have opened beneath the road. Crews are, as you can see right there, working to fill it. The roundabout at Highway 171, 96 and Route YY near Carl Junction is now open for traffic. Mostly, that is. Jasper County Route YY is only open, though, in the eastbound direction. According to MoDOT, they're going to open that area fully at a later date. Drivers could still encounter periodic lane closures as crews wrap up minor work, also cleanup. Doug Heddy joining us now. First look at the forecast, preparing some room in that tummy for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I guess we all have to, but we've had some on and off showers throughout the evening hours, and it looks like this is going to continue for the next several hours. So if you are going to be out tonight, be careful on the roadways. They're a little slick just due to the water on the roadways, but temperatures today, we hit 67, started at 53, average high is 55 degrees. Unfortunately, we have a strong cold front that is heading toward us, and that's what's causing these showers, even a few rumbles of thunder in extreme southwestern parts of Missouri. But there are some patches of moderate rain which are working through, and again, these are going to last for the next several hours as a cold front works through and then turning sharply colder for us tomorrow. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much, Doug. This year's Salvation Army Thanksgiving Day dinner in Joplin is expected to be at capacity. Around 400 meals are going to be delivered. Salvation Army workers say donations for this year's dinner have been good.
The biggest thing is the food we get donated. We start working on that a few weeks before, getting in the quantities that we want, trying to purchase little as possible, which we have done very well with, getting the right amount of donations.
People can still sign up for the Joplin Salvation Army's upcoming Christmas dinner. Close to 100 people could have some happy tummies on Thanksgiving, thanks to a Jane, Missouri restaurant right there. Green's Bar and Grill is hosting a free meal for people in need, serving up some turkey, ham, mashed taters, egg salad, and much more.
We originally started out with just 25 people that we were going to try to serve, and then we had a lot of feedback from the community that they thought it was awesome and they were interested in coming. Some people wanted to make reservations and do different things, so we got some more turkeys and hams, and we decided to up it to 100 people.
Just to say it again, because this is food we're talking about, something important. Green says it can feed up to 100 people, so if you're in that area, make your way over. 100 people. If you plan to travel out of town for the Thanksgiving holiday, you're going to have plenty of company. More than 53 million Americans hitting the rails, roads, and skies this week. Fox News correspondent Casey Stiegel has more now from Dallas.
Today is the busiest travel day of the year, but the question is, are the airlines ready? Holiday travel through the weekend is expected to be up about 13% from last year, meaning we could be looking at pre-pandemic numbers. The TSA says 93% of its staff has been vaccinated, and the agency is ready for the 20 million passengers they're expected to screen. And in the private sector, many carriers are offering overtime incentives and tacking on bonuses to avoid sick-outs. American Airlines is giving flight attendants triple their pay if they work their holiday shifts with perfect attendance.
These incentives are what's really needed in order to make sure that we can meet the demands over the holiday season.
It's going to be a crowded holiday on the roads as well. More than 48 million Americans expected to travel between now and Sunday, shrugging off surging gas prices, with a nationwide average at $3.40 a gallon, up 60% from last Thanksgiving.
Gas prices are high, but they're definitely not deterring travelers.
There are also fewer concerns about COVID this year, despite a recent spike in cases, with most folks relying on vaccines to keep them safe as they make up for lost time with loved ones.
We're going to meet up with the rest of the family for the first time, so it's a special moment.
Here at DFW, officials are expecting some 2.3 million passengers to flow through here over the holiday weekend. That's up about 70% from last year. That's the latest from DFW International Airport. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
In another sign the nation is bouncing back from the pandemic, the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits dropped last week. The Labor Department reporting the number of claims fell to 199,000 from 270,000 just last week. This is the lowest it's gone down in more than half a century. The last time it was this low was in mid-November of 1969 when there were 197,000 applicants. Figures are also much lower than the February 2020 pre-pandemic average of nearly 212,000 claims. Now, economists believe the drop could be evidence employers are curbing layoffs in the midst of a labor shortage. Holiday hiring are also likely contributing to the employment bump. A guilty verdict in the trial over the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery. Dozens of demonstrators outside the courthouse celebrated as the verdict was read. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has more.
The family and supporters of Ahmaud Arbery say justice has been served for a black man in the Deep South.
The spirit of Ahmaud defeated the lynch mob.
The fates of 3 white men charged in the killing of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery have been sealed by a jury of 11 white people and 1 black.
We, the jury, find the defendant Travis McMichael guilty.
Travis McMichael found guilty of all charges, including malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment. His father guilty on all charges except 1 count of malice murder. The jury finding William Roddy Bryan guilty of felony murder, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment. Defense attorneys say they will appeal. Arbery's father emotional after the first guilty verdict was read, having to be removed from the courtroom. All 3 defendants were stoic. Outside the courthouse, dozens of supporters of the Arbery family cheered.
Let us know that all whites are not racist.
Right. Come on.
And all blacks are not worthless.
Come on. We together did this. We all together, black, white, activists.
Wednesday's verdict ending a 2-week-long trial that saw more than 20 witnesses take the stand. Arbery's mother relieved by the jury's decision.
I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you. Thank each and every one of you who fought this fight with us. It's been a long fight. It's been a hard fight.
The McMichaels and Bryan are also facing federal hate crime charges. They have pled not guilty. In Brunswick, Georgia, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Fox 14, KOAM News at 9, takes its time to honor another 4-state hero. Mark McCulley has served in the U.S. Army. Native of Frontenac, Kansas, McCulley has been stationed in Iraq, and we are proud to thank and salute Mark McCulley. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast. And a bit later, going to hear from those Lamar Tigers as they prepare for Saturday's state semifinal matchup against Richmond.
Another mild day for us today as we went right back up into the mid-60s for highs, but we didn't really see the sunshine all day. We had cloudy skies, very windy, a lose your trash can type of day as the winds were gusting 40 to 45 miles per hour at times. Nice shot, Indigo Sky, Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but the roads are wet. So if you are doing any localized traveling this evening, be careful on the roadways as they are on the wet side. Look at our temps. You can see a very sharp line here from Nevada back toward Pittsburgh, Chautauqua, and then down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. You got 50s behind it, you got 60s ahead of it as our cold front is dropping through. And look at the colder air. So Wichita at 46, KC at 50, 37 in Sioux City, North Platte down to 34. So this colder air is sinking in, and that's what we're going to see as we go through about the next day, day and a half before we start to warm things back up. Southerly winds all day long, kind of breezy. They've diminished a bit, and then you can see the front right through southeastern Kansas. Northerly winds kicking in behind it, and those are going to be kind of strong as well. So the winds have kind of died down a bit, and then they're going to pick right back up. 7th and range line currently outside. We set at 59. South winds at 10. Of course, humidity is high with the rain rolling through. Periods of showers, even a few random little tiny thunderstorms in southwestern parts of Missouri, but mainly just good old rain across the region from northwestern Arkansas, southwestern Missouri, and then a little bit lighter on the Kansas side, but still going on. You can see a little pocket out toward Independence and over toward Miami. A little heavier Newton County down through McDonald County and then stretching off toward the northeast north of Springfield, Missouri. But this is all going to continue to rotate through, and it's going to do it pretty quickly. Here in about 4 or 5 hours, most of the rain is going to be out of here. In fact, let's go through time. By 11:30, so here in a couple hours, most of the rain along and south of the I-44 corridor. By 2:30, it's gone. And then temperatures start to drop. We drop into the 30s. So it is going to be a cold start. I think we're going to have some clouds in the morning, sunshine. We'll try to rebound during the afternoon, but temperatures are really going to struggle to warm up during the daytime hours tomorrow. And then it gets colder tomorrow night. We drop into the mid-20s, so a hard freeze, but look at the winds. They start to work back out of the south. That's going to start to help us warm things back up by the time we head into Friday. Additional rainfall. Most of us have had a tenth, upwards to a quarter of an inch of rain, and I think still we could pick up another quarter to half an inch, especially along and south of Interstate 44 for us tonight. Tomorrow temps struggle. It's a good day to stay inside. Watch some football. 34 to start, 37 by 9. 43 may be pushing it. We may only get to 41 or 42. So it's going to be chilly tomorrow, but we rebound quickly. 53 Friday, back to 61 by Saturday.
So jacket weather for tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, but
yeah, almost coat weather.
Coat weather.
Yeah.
It's still okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, a look at the increasing worry over energy costs as we head into winter. Defensive end J.J. Watt is going to be covering the funeral costs for those killed at the Wisconsin Christmas Parade. Watt is a Wisconsin native, grew up in Waukesha for that matter, and played football for the local high school. Took to Twitter Sunday night after the driver of a red SUV plowed into a crowd of people at the Christmas Parade, and Watt described the initial images of the scene as horrific. He also thanked everyone at the scene who rushed to help the wounded. Mounting fuel prices are a concern to many Americans as they try to keep those homes warm this winter. Fox News congressional correspondent Aisha Husney has this story.
As the temperature drops, the anxiety rises. Energy costs are soaring across America. Last month, the Energy Information Administration predicted home heating oil bills will be up 43% from last year, natural gas up 30%, and electricity up 6%. Gas prices also hitting the wallet.
They're just crazy expensive right now.
AAA says the average price of unleaded at the pump is $1.29 higher than this time last year. Americans blame Washington.
I think they all need to get their act together and kind of work together.
Republicans and Democrats in Congress are sending out an SOS to the White House. In a letter to President Biden, Senators Susan Collins and Jack Reed urged him to release funding from the Weatherization Assistance Program to help families with their home heating bills. Republicans warn, though, it's only going to get worse as it gets colder.
What does that do to a senior that's struggling on a $1,200 Social Security check? Not only are their food costs going to go up this Thanksgiving, but again, their ability to keep warm.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say the president's move to tap into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is too little, too late. Senator Joe Manchin snubbed it as an important policy band-aid for rising gas prices, but does not solve for the self-inflicted wound that short-sighted energy policy is having on our nation, calling on the president to reverse the course on the Keystone XL pipeline. And Senate Energy Committee ranking member John Barrasso called the release desperate.
And despite releasing more oil, President Biden warning Americans they will not feel relief at the pump overnight, not anytime soon. So that trip to Grandma's house this Thanksgiving is going to be just as expensive as you thought it would be. In Virginia, I'm Aisha Hasney, Fox News.
All right, next, some financial advice. Getting those ducks organized, planning for tax time. Are here. Turkey Day is tomorrow. Before you know it's going to be Christmas, then a new year, which means you should also start your tax planning. Fox's CJ Papa has some tips to get you ahead of the game in this Look at Your Cash.
It's that time of the year to get busy with your year-end planning. And that includes preparing for tax season, whether you're running a business or not. If you are an employer, take advantage of the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. It's available to small businesses that support Americans who have been repeatedly blocked from employment.
If you are hiring anybody that's been unemployed for more than 6 months, you can get a $9,600 credit. Use it to pay a hiring bonus for those new employees.
Get into the holiday spirit. Give to charities, both personally and from your business.
There is an extra charitable deduction above the standard deduction this year for individuals. And for businesses, you can deduct up to 25% of your income only this year for giving to a charity. So that's a great deduction. Plus, if you're involved in a charity or a nonprofit, it's a great way to raise money.
Help employees out with any daunting student loans.
We have an entire generation that's buried under student debt. And thanks to one of the stimulus bills, we can now pay $5,250 towards our employees' student loans, and we get a deduction for it, and they don't get taxed for it.
And you can bring your kids into the office.
You don't want to put your 6-year-old behind the phones, of course, but somebody of a reasonable age. You can pay them up to $12,550 per year. The standard deduction takes care of that. They won't get taxed on it other than payroll taxes.
After all, it's your cash. I'm CJ Papa.
Gotta see which cereals have earned a permanent spot on those grocery store shelves when we come back. Is adding 8 new cereal creations to their permanent lineup. First, there's Cinnagram Toast Crunch, which combines the classic taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with the sweet honey flavor of graham crackers. Fans of peanut butter and chocolate are going to be eating up Reese's Puffs Cluster Crunch, which brings light and crispy clusters to the classic cereal. Cheerios is getting a new addition to its lineup with strawberry banana Cheerios. Younger kids who like the Disney Junior show PJ Masks. Somebody will chow down on a cereal inspired by the kids' superhero show. You're welcome for that singing, by the way. Finally, there are 4 new flavors of healthier cereal, including 2 new keto diet flavors of granola and 2 cereals from Plentiful, starring peanut butter and cinnamon almond butter. All right, the original face of an iconic baby food company getting closer to the century mark. Ann Turner Cook, whose charcoal-drawn face ended up on Gerber baby food products, turned 95 Saturday. Cook, who later became a novelist, helped write the story of one of America's best-known baby food makers ever since the drawings first appeared on Gerber products in 1928. The sketch, drawn by artist Dorothy Hope Smith, was submitted for a Gerber advertising campaign. The drawing became Gerber's official trademark in 1931, making Ann the original Gerber baby. And not only parents, but so many shoppers know, the sketch continues to be on all Gerber packaging, also in ads. Congratulations to her. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Many people are going to be cooking for Thanksgiving, and a local fire department has some advice to ensure your meal doesn't end in disaster. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with those tips.
Also, Santa Claus getting ahead of schedule this year, setting up shop at Joplin's North Park Mall. Cooking is a big part of Thanksgiving, right? But it can also lead to disaster if you're not careful. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the Pittsburgh fire chief to see what the department dealt with last year, also to get some tips for staying safe this Thanksgiving.
Pittsburgh Fire Chief Dennis Riley is no stranger to disaster, especially around Thanksgiving.
Historically, over the course of time,
several years. We do see some incidents happen right around the Thanksgiving holiday.
With all of the possibilities for disaster on Thanksgiving, the Pittsburgh fire chief has some tips so your dinner doesn't go up in flames.
So as long as you follow the instructions, it's fine.
He says not to use this day to try anything new in the kitchen.
A couple things we recommend is, number one, stay within your skills. So if you have not made a big Thanksgiving meal before, don't let today be the day that you try to do that. So people can get overwhelmed. They get a lot of things on the stove. They get in a hurry. Then all of a sudden they throw a dish towel down on a hot burner because they've got so much going on. They're just not used to doing that.
Another thing that can cause fires is a buildup of grease. So make sure to keep your stove and oven clean.
A lot of times grease and food byproducts over the course of time fall on the bottom of the stove. Then all of a sudden you put a big turkey in there and a whole bunch of other stuff. Something spills out, hits the burner. That starts a fire. So we recommend make sure your stove is clean.
Most importantly, Riley says to call 911 as soon as you see a fire.
Homeowners try to take action on their own. They get into a situation where there's too much for them to handle, and then they call the fire department. And fire grows exponentially. So if there's any concern whatsoever at all, call the fire department first.
The Pittsburgh Fire Department will be working Thanksgiving and says not to hesitate should any emergencies arise. In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
At last report, the Pittsburgh and the Joplin fire departments had not seen any holiday-related cooking fires this year. Santa Claus has come to town. The guy himself now at Joplin's North Park Mall. Of course, there are plenty of kiddos today there, all vying to let the big guy know what they want to see under that Christmas tree. But for at least a couple of kids we caught up with today, they're excited about the reason for the season and their families coming together.
I get to celebrate Jesus' birthday. Who is that? Probably seeing everybody in one, because we're usually at Christmas at our house. Everybody's in all these different rooms, and it's kind of weird.
You can catch Santa Claus every day up until Christmas. Hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, Santa's at the mall from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and noon to 6 on Sundays. Going from Santa Claus to alcohol, spirits may be in short supply in stores. Liquor suppliers are warning your favorite holiday time alcoholic beverages may be hard to track down this year. The Distilled Spirits Council says the spirits industry has been hit hard with shortages of glass for bottle making, availability of pallets and containers, and few drivers supplying stores. Stores and regulation agencies are giving notice about shortfalls and aging issues required for alcohol content once production resumed. Among the low inventory are tequila and champagne. Industry insiders advise buy now and shop local if supplies are low. People living in coastal communities facing an uncertain future as rising sea levels due to climate change threaten to wipe out cities. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has more on how the residents of one town in particular are coming to terms with the news they only have 33 years left before their homes vanish.
What you have here is a human catastrophe.
Imagine your neighborhood being completely swallowed by the sea. For residents in the Welsh town of Fairbourne, that nightmare is their new reality, with UK officials saying the village will no longer be inhabitable by 2054 due to severe flooding and storms, the result of climate change.
For the people of the village of Fairbourne, everything they've bought, they're going to watch it demise in money and end up being worthless.
Because Fairbourne's elevation lies below sea level, environmental experts say it was already a magnet for floodwaters. And over time, the government has funded projects to defend Fairbourne from the ocean. But as the planet warms, sea levels are rising and storms are getting more powerful. And the problem is costing too much to combat.
With the climate change happening, the sea levels rising, the storms increasing in severity, it means that we would need to add an extra level of protection continuously in order to maintain the level of risk as it is at the moment. As time goes forward, that becomes much more expensive.
Local officials say their focus is on relocating villagers, but many residents say they're not budging.
If they want us out by 2054, then they've got to have the accommodation to put us in.
Until water actually comes in here, where it physically can't work, we'll carry on.
Rising sea levels due to climate change are also posing serious future risks for cities here in the U.S., including New York City, Miami, New Orleans, and more. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
A bit later, some time to reflect and give thanks. Importantly, going to catch up with the celebs to see how they're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving.
Well, it's kind of chilly out there, and it's nasty as well, as we have the showers, even a few thunder showers which are rolling through, but the cold air hasn't even made it here yet, but it is on the wet side. And we're looking at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But look at the cooler temperatures working in. On the Kansas side, we're dropping into low to mid 50s, still upper 50s to near 60, Missouri, Oklahoma, and also parts of Arkansas. But that front is working in, and that's going to be the trend as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Look at the colder air filtering off toward the south. So it's going to be quite a bit cooler as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Windy all day. We have the south wind. Now you can see this wind shift line really from Stockton Lake to Lamar to about Columbus to Nowata. And then the winds start to pick back up again behind the front. So it's going to be breezy once again as we go through the overnight hours. Roads are wet. Be careful if you are going to be out. We have the showers across the region, nearly 60. Humidity is at 93%. We've had just periods of rain all evening long. In fact, picking up just a bit across Oklahoma, southeastern parts of Kansas. We're getting a few embedded little tiny rumbles of thunder, but not a big deal across the area. Mainly just light to moderate rain right along the I-44 corridor. But you can see picking up in Montgomery County just a bit. So this is shooting northeast. We have this big batch northeastern parts of Oklahoma. This is all going to ride right along the I-44 corridor. Pretty good patch on the south side of Joplin. Then again, over towards Springfield, back through northwestern Arkansas. And this is going to continue for at least the next few hours as the system slowly rolls off toward the east. So let's go through time. Let's go a couple hours down the road. Still, most of the rain on the Missouri side starting to taper off in southeastern Kansas. By 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it's gone. That colder air filters in. We drop into lower 30s during the morning hours. By the afternoon, we struggle to warm up. We're going to have sunshine, but we're only going to go into lower 40s for highs. And then tomorrow night, we take a dip all the way down into lower 20s. And then by the time we head into Friday, it looks a little bit better. We get southerly winds back, and this will help us warm into the 50s for highs. And then we're going to climb into the 60s by Saturday. Additional rainfall on top of what we've already had, mainly along and south of the I-44 corridor, about another 1/4 of an inch in a lot of areas. Very possible as the system continues to work through. All right, it's going to be cold by the morning. We're going to be hovering into the 30s through the morning hours. Hopefully get up to about 43 by tomorrow afternoon, but we bounce to 53 Friday, 61 by Saturday.
Chilly nights.
Yeah, definitely tomorrow night.
Yeah. Doug, thank you. All right, coming up in sports, the Lamar Tigers, 1 win away from playing for a state title. Going to hear from the team. Also, the Pitt State women hitting the floor tonight against former MIAA rival Lindenwood. Jacob Leonard has highlights, post-game reaction next.
The Pittsburgh State women's basketball team is 2-1 in their first 3 games. The last time out, Pitt State topped St. Mary 99-57 in non-conference play last Thursday. Tonight, the Gorillas back on the floor, facing former MIAA rival Lindenwood in a non-conference matchup. Early on, great take and finish for Sydney Crane. Gorillas, though, down 3 after 1. The second quarter was better for PSU, Aliyah Myers. Really nice look to Sydney Holmes for 2. Then right before half, Aaron Davis, senior, leads with 8 at the break. Pitt State up 7 going to the second half. Everything going at the rim for PSU early in the second half. Step through for Jamie Jackson. She gets 10. When the defense starts to sink in, Tristan Gegg steps out, hits the 3. Gegg really good in the second half. Scores 16 of her team high 22 in the final 20 minutes. Sydney Crane, she did a little bit of everything, man. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals. Gorillas outscored Lindenwood 24-13 in the fourth. Pitt State wins it tonight 74-56.
We just want to keep putting it on them. We were told they opened their feet really bad before the game started, so she said you got to get them down, got to get downhill and get to the free throw line. So that's really what we emphasized going into the second half.
We wanted to get to the free throw line. We wanted to get high percentage shots, and we thought we could get there. We thought that's what we'd seen on film, and that's the style we play. So I thought that the girls really kept that mentality as the game went on.
The Pittsburgh State men's basketball team is back in action tonight on the road against Henderson State. Now, the Gorillas are off to a bit of a slow start this season, dropping 4 straight to begin their schedule. On this one today against Henderson State, the Gorillas fall in a tight one, 59-57. Ryan Pippin scores the team-high 21 points for PSU. The Gorillas are back in action at home on Saturday, hosting Baker. 3 local high school football teams are still alive in the state playoffs, including the Lamar Tigers. Lamar hosts Richmond on Saturday in the state semifinals, aiming to return to the Class II championship game. We caught up with the Tigers today as they try to earn another trip back to Columbia. Repeating as state champions is no easy task.
It's extremely difficult. Things have to kind of shape your way. You have to obviously put in the work first, but then, just the adversity of dealing with injuries, dealing with other teams that have gotten better, and have proved their program, have seen us play, and have adapted their programs to beat teams like us. The pieces have to fall into place for you.
The Lamar Tigers are aiming to do just that and go 2 for 2 in their first 2 seasons under head coach Jared Beshore.
It would mean the world to me that these kids get to do this for a second year in a row.
It means so much. I've been dreaming for this day for a long time.
I think that's my motivation, is getting them to next weekend and getting them 7 more days of football.
We know what we're working for, and that's 7 more days of football until Misha tells us we can't go anymore.
Lamar is just 2 wins away from another Class II title, beginning with a semifinal matchup against Richmond on Saturday.
They're big, they're athletic, they're long, they're a very physical team. They're going to do what they do. They don't change a whole lot based on what the team they're playing. They just like to go straight at you. And so, very similar philosophy to what we have.
Our scout team, they put in a lot of work and give us a great look every day.
The Tigers know their end goal is to win it all, but it's the small details along the way that will get them there.
Detail-oriented people usually get good results. When you focus on the small things, that's the difference between a 5-yard gain and a touchdown a lot of times. So when we focus on that in practice, that's sometimes the difference between a win and a loss. Football's a game of inches. Our guys understand that. They've bought into that. They've been coached like that for a long time. I was coached like that, so it's really easy for them to buy into it and understand why it works and how it works.
Lamar will face Richmond in the state semifinals at 1 p.m. on Saturday in Lamar. The winner moves on to the state championship game scheduled for next Friday in Columbia. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Celebrities share their Thanksgiving Day plans and what they are most thankful for this year. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
The stars are looking forward to stepping away from the spotlight to unwind and spend time with their loved ones on Thanksgiving.
We look forward to getting out to see some good movies, spending time with the family, and just taking a breath before we set off into the new year, which will hopefully be less problematic than the old year.
Getting my friends and family together and creating those moments where we can all sit together and have an experience together is the moments that I hold on to the most.
The traditionally feast-heavy holiday has a special meaning for some.
Thanksgiving is so important because we found our dog on Thanksgiving. We were in the Dominican Republic for Thanksgiving with my wife's family, and this 4-pound, half-starved puppy nipped my wife's ankle, and her name is now Tobillo because she nipped my wife's ankle, and she turns 10 years old this year. So we'll probably bring her back to her beach in DR and have a little family gathering there.
Others see the holiday as a time to celebrate diversity.
Really, the holiday season is about celebrating each other in all your differences and
really like seeing each other for who we are.
Yeah, I love that, yeah.
But they all have something to be thankful for.
I'm super thankful for my wife and my son and my family.
Very thankful for my health and my family's health. You know, the most important thing in my world is my family, my wife, my 2 kids. And, you know, we're very fortunate to have the life we do.
In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
All right, a look at the upcoming Jurassic World Dominion and some other Hollywood news coming your way. The Recording Academy announces a new class of nominees and a first look at the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Reboot. Fox's Steve Rappaport has the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
I was finally there. A new Fresh Prince takes the throne, the Dinos go back in time, and John Batiste leads in the Hollywood Nation.
I don't know why, but I feel like
A wide range of performers have a lot to be thankful for this week after being recognized by the Recording Academy Tuesday morning. The nominees for the 64th Grammy Awards revealed New Orleans artist John Batiste as the top contender with 11 nominations total, including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best R&B Album. Justin Bieber, Doja Cat, and Her each earned 8 nominations, followed by Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo with 7 nods each. The ceremony for music's biggest night airs live on CBS and stream on Paramount Plus January 31st. Universal Pictures is taking fans back 65 million years with an extended look at the upcoming blockbuster Jurassic World Dominion. The studio debuted a 5-minute special prologue, which is not part of the actual film, but serves as the beginning of a story that will continue when the film opens in theaters on June 10th, 2022. This is a story. And Peacock shares a first-look trailer to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. The dramatic reimaging of the 90s sitcom titled Bel-Air features Jabari Banks as the new Will, who moves away from West Philadelphia after getting in trouble with criminal gangs and moving in with his uncle to rebuild his life. Will Smith can be heard throughout the clip narrating the lyrics of the opening song from the original show.
Prince of Bel-Air.
Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of lemurs enjoying a Thanksgiving feast at the Brookfield Zoo near Chicago. What do we got? We got some cranberry stuff there. Good stuff. Hey, be safe. Hope you have a meaningful Thanksgiving. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.